In today's video, we're gonna do our first flight with this. This is the Autel Evo 2 version 3. It's a bit of a mouthful, but Autel is really getting some serious mileage out of this airframe. It's now been out for over 2.5 years, and we still have the same design, but they went ahead and enhanced this with a new chipset. They're calling this Skylink 2.0, which enhances the range and the transmission image back to the RC. So let's put it to the test in this video. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do our first flight with the Evo 2 version 3, and they also included a new RC for this drone. This is the Smart Controller SE, and it's obviously, you can tell just by me holding it in hand, it is a heck of a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to travel with. It's a lot more portable. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot easier to use without a lanyard. Now, it does come with an 800 nit display. And overall, I will tell you, just in the time I spent setting up the Evo 2, that this feels a lot more smoother than the previous generation of Smart Controller. It almost feels a lot smoother than the RC Pro, and some of that could be in part of the operating system that they are using. This is very nice, super clean Android 11. And yeah, I really like it. They also included a spot for the sticks, so you can take your sticks out this time, stow them away. It's got a nice little clever kickstand. And I think one of the coolest things is this battery sort of slips in here really easily. It's a magnetic battery. So if you wanted to swap your battery, or if you're in the field and you needed to swap your battery, you could go ahead and do that. So that's something we don't see on a lot of these smart controllers today, is the ability to swap the batteries. So that is cool to see. All right, let me go ahead and get the Evo 2 booted up, get this booted up, and then we'll get it out in the air and take it for a test flight. We're gonna try to find some Florida walrus. I think they're out of season. It's early November, there may be a few. It's 75 degrees. Usually you can find them perched up over there on that beach. They're a hell of a sight to see, so let's get this drone in the air. Alrighty, so I've got the screen recording going. Let's go ahead and take off. It's a little windy out today. Oh, all that glorious color from the Autel Evo. Let's see, we still got horizon tilt. Doesn't look like it's too bad. This color science, they couldn't fix that apparently. So, recording. It says I'm in manual exposure mode, so I'll just flip that over into auto, I guess. There we go, we'll flip to auto, restart the recording, there we go. It's weird how it won't let you flip from auto to whatever. All right, so we're at 70 feet right now. And I will say this, the transmission does feel smoother. Let's go into the image transmission and change it to high definition, because that's like their new thing, is like that high definition transmission is supposed to be better. So also make sure I was still recording on screen here. So 800 nit display here. Let's make sure we are at max brightness. We're at max brightness. Was I zoomed into that? Yeah, I think I was. I was accidentally zooming into that. 800 nits isn't terrible. Man, this thing still flies like an Evo. Definitely needs to be tuned as far as my yaw and everything. Still way too sensitive. Transmission, at least from what I'm seeing here, is definitely a little bit better. I used to get a pretty good amount of breakup, and I'm just past that island over here, and just passing the backside of it, I can see it on the outside edge of the island. That's one good thing about this drone. It's so fucking ugly, you can see it from a mile away. Yeah. I got like this weird, oh, there it is. So it's got longitude and latitude on the screen. I'm sure I can turn that off if I want it. I'll put it down here. So we're at 2,000 feet right now. And right now what we're doing is we're trying to make our way out to where the Florida walrus like to bask. Like I said, they usually are right on the shore here by this beach. And I will definitely say, as far as the image quality goes, I'm not getting that like pixel breaking where the image would be breaking up. I'm not getting any of that this time, so that is a good thing. 800 nits of brightness seems to be okay. You may still squint. It's not amazing. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it is definitely working here right now. As far as the color goes, I can't stand Autel's default color science. For the love of Christ, would you listen to anybody and allow us to help you make this color better out of the box? Otherwise, it just is just too much cyan, too much. It's like oversaturated. It's a freaking disaster. Looks like a child's water painting. Not really a fan of that, but the transmission definitely is better. So I'm out right now, 3,800 feet, just cresting the island. God, it's such an ugly drone. You can see it from far away. So here we are. This is Pine Island here. Now, usually like I would never fly my Evos out here because I would worry on whether or not I would have the transmission signal or latency on my side. And right now I can definitely say I'm not really having any issue with any of that as of right now. So we're at 4,500 feet. We're flying at about 17 miles per hour. I probably will have to flip this over into sport mode coming back because 17 isn't gonna be enough to do it. We're at 188 feet, which usually out here I test anywhere from 220 to 250. So 188 feet, we're approaching Pine Island, which once again, would never fly any of my Evos out here just because the range isn't all that great. Let's start pitching the gimbal down. I'm still getting a really nice image back to the RC and I'm not seeing any of those stutters. So I am screen recording as well. Another thing I gotta give them credit for is the performance on this smart controller. So much better. It's like so fluid and smooth, and it's actually very, very comfortable. It feels like I'm playing a video game and my hands rest in this RC really, really nicely, which is fantastic. So we made it out here to the beach. That's 5,700 feet. And if you're paying attention to the RC quality, hopefully you've noticed that we haven't gotten very much breakup. I haven't noticed any breakup. Everything seems very smooth. The image transmission down to the controller looks really clean. So I gotta be pretty happy about that. I mean, if there's anything really to, you know, give them kudos on, it's that. And plus two, we're still at a relatively low altitude. We're at about 326 feet now. Got up there a little bit, but I mean, overall though, I'm still feeling pretty good. We may have a walrus in the water here. Let me see. Is that a walrus? Let's zoom in on that. Yep, there we go. Florida walrus. Right there. Yep. So we got Florida walrus. Man, that's so rare this time of year. So rare, crazy. But there you go, they exist. People doubted me that they weren't real, but they are really real, really real. All right, so let's bring this back. We got 76% left to the battery. And I think we can just bring it right back the same way we came. So we'll just come right back out. 6,200 feet, I mean, that's pretty good. That's more than like I think anybody would need for the most part. Latency appears to be pretty good. I'm not really seeing any issues. Like I said, in previous versions with any of my Autel drones, I would have it to where it broke up. I would get like these little blips and blurps where it was breaking up. Another thing I will say is that the camera doesn't seem to be at a tilt, so that's a good thing. However, I am disappointed that they didn't give us the wider angle lens that we have on the Evo Lite. The Evo Lite has a wider angle lens than this, and this one, I just felt like this is just too narrow, to be quite honest. So I'm coming in at 21 miles per hour. Probably could bring this into sport mode. Let's take this in, see, does this enhance this? That just shuts off obstacle avoidance. Doesn't do anything for me as far as speed goes. Still traveling 22 miles per hour, which I really want to go faster. Let's go faster. Let's flip it into ludicrous mode. Let's go 45, get back here a little quicker. See if that helps things any. Yeah, that definitely helps. Tremendously faster, but all right, so we're still at 71%. So one thing I will give them credit on is the fact that the battery life is really, really good on this drone. I always forget how good the drone is. It just can't yaw for shit. People make fun of the Avata for being the Zoolander of drones. I think the Autel is the Zoolander of drones. This thing cannot yaw. It yaws like Richard Pryor. It's like, so definitely got to tune it a little bit to get it to where I want it, but yeah, it's pretty good. GPS holding steady at 25 satellites, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead, we'll bring it back to us and we will do a little bit of a latency test, shall we? That's usually a good way to tell of how finely tuned they have this quad. So I see us right there. There we are. Coming in. You can hear it, it's so loud. All right, so let's bring it in closer to us. And guys, I'm sorry if I'm lisping. I've got a bit of a toothache and I've put so much KY Jelly anal lube in my mouth that I can't even feel my fucking tongue right now. So if I'm lisping, that's why. If you want to stop a toothache, you just put some KY Jelly in your mouth. You won't feel anything. It'll numb it for days. All right, let's come closer here. Again, screen recording still happening. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do the wave test. Easiest way to check on latency. Oh, sorry. Easiest way to check latency. There's a car. So let's do this. Let me wave. I'm gonna jump now. Seems to be pretty good. And then I'm gonna turn around and then bring it back. 2 hops this time. 1 step, 2 step. Yeah, I mean, the latency's improved. What about crisscross? Latency's better. Definitely better. All right, let's bring it in. Alrighty, so what did you think of that? Did you think the range was better? Did you feel like the transmission looked cleaner back to the RC? I will tell you that for me, having flown the version 1, the version 2, the image transmission does look better. It does look cleaner. Is that enough for me to want to upgrade to the version 3 Evo? I'm gonna say no. If I have a version 2 or version 3, it's probably a no for me. However, this new RC is really, really good. I really, really like this controller. I love this smart controller. It is just very, very nicely done. They did listen to all the things that I complained about on the first version of the smart controller and did make it a lot better on this. Like, I love the stick placement, I love the little kickstand, I love the magnetic battery, and I just love how this is a lot easier to to bring around. It's a lot more portable essentially, which is a big thing. If you're buying a smart controller, you don't want to have to lug around your smartphone. And I felt like with the original smart controller, it was just too unwieldy to take places and definitely too much to travel with. But this you can easily just throw inside of your bag. It's no bigger than a Nintendo Switch, really. I mean, that's really what this reminds me of, is a Nintendo Switch. It's super nice. There is a 1/4-20 screw here, so if you want to put it on a tripod or something and fly, you can do that. And the fact that, again, you can go ahead and remove these batteries and put new batteries in, and that's in there pretty good. You got to give it a little firm pull to get it out, but damn, that's actually pretty nice. I like that. And again, the spot to put the sticks makes a lot of sense to have it right there. So you just take the sticks out, put them there, and they sort of sit in there nicely. I think they did a good job on this. This is definitely a nice little RC. It's built very well, it feels good. 800 nits though. I mean, if there's any drawback to this, it's the fact that it's only 800 nits. I didn't have a problem seeing, and again, the sun is just sort of the back of me, but I know a lot of people will complain about the fact that it is only 800 nits, but you know, take that for what it is. I mean, sometimes there's trade-offs in regards to that. The V3, it's still an Evo 2. Nothing's really changed tremendously on this. It still flies like shit. The colors look like crap right out of the box. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, you're really shitting on it, but I'm just being completely real. In order to get this to fly good, you have to change the EXP. You've got to sort of fuck around with it a little bit to get it flying right. It's possible. You can get this to fly, you know, how your Mavic 3 does, but you got to do there's a little bit of fuckery involved, and it would just be nice if out of the box they would tune it properly to where people didn't have to do any of those things. I feel like the Evo Lite is already there. It flies amazing. I don't know why they don't apply those EXP settings to this. Makes no sense to me. And then of course the color. There's just so much cyan. It's so overly saturated. And I know that this sensor can produce such a great image. I mean, it's been proving time and time again that it can do it. It's just there's no effort in the color science. So that's a bit of a problem. And I wish that Autel would listen a little bit more to their user base. I feel like they do, but then they sort of slack off where some of these little details would matter. Like color science isn't gonna cost them anything. To give a better EXP setting straight out of the box, like by default, isn't going to cost them anything. It just takes a little bit of effort and talking to the pilots that fly these to make that better. But overall, I will say the image transmission was a hell of a lot better, and the image quality back to the controller was better. I have full confidence I probably could have kept pushing this out, you know, 12,000 feet or more, but not while I'm wearing my Pilot Institute hat. I can see to the beach. I can't see farther than that. So again, keeping it legally, I don't go beyond where the walrus lie. All right, if you enjoyed this content, be sure you hit the subscribe button and follow along for more videos just like this. I am posting things to TikTok where you can get some of the more abridged versions of these reviews. And you can follow on Twitter if you want some of the raw thoughts in real time or just the ability to interact with me a lot faster. I'll see you in the next video. Stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power.